The way that I explain it to traders is that you show up to the market every day waiting to see if your opportunity is going to be there. And if your opportunity is there, you place a trade. If your opportunity is not there, you're not going to place a trade. Add a little bit, 169. Top tick that ad. Come on, baby. Come on. Wow, what an ad, dude. Holy, how perfect was that? $2,000 day from a day of not really anything moving. That brings me to $12,000 for the month in just 3 days. Pretty unbelievable. The Alex indicator is the only indicator that's consistent amongst everything. That's trading, guys, right? That's trading. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. If this is your first time on live trading, welcome. We use the webinars channel in Slack to communicate. The way that we structure live trading, same thing as every day. We talk about what's working in the market, what's not working in the market. We build the watch list live. We trade the watch list live. So let's start off with what the market's been like. So yesterday I had a nice $3,700 day. Nothing too crazy, nothing too special, but it all adds up. The last 2 days I've been trading TRNR, kind of been pushing and failing pretty much every single day. So pushed and failed here, pushed and failed here. Now it's pushing again. But now we're kind of getting to the point, guys, where it's kind of holding up longer than expected, right? Oftentimes these stocks should end up failing. And after multiple days of push and fail, push and fail, push and fail, you would assume that the next day it's also going to push and fail, but the reality is that they might be just laying some sort of advanced trap here, right? So although TRNR is up again today, and although I made money on it 2 days in a row, I'm probably not going to go back to the well on the third day. So this TRNR is not really that interesting to me today. Let's talk about the overall market. So overall market is extraordinarily volatile right now, extraordinarily volatile. We're getting a lot of crazy washouts and crazy rebounds, crazy washouts and crazy rebounds. And the reason why is because every day there's a new headline from the president with all the news on the tariffs on Canada and China and Mexico and the Ukraine and this and that. The market is just super volatile due to uncertainty. And the market really hates uncertainty. Uncertainty is the worst thing that the market could do because the market likes predictability. We got a major rebound yesterday, and then into the last 30 minutes of the day, the entire rebound crashed. And then into the after hours, they said that they're going to work on a deal with China and Mexico sometime today. The news didn't get announced, so the market's back down. So in my opinion, I would expect probably sometime today or sometime this week for an official headline to come out that says Trump reached a deal with XYZ and Trump reached a deal with whatever. And that's what's going to kind of cause the market to rebound a little bit. So be on the lookout for that. We're starting to see some of that action happening, obviously, into the after hours yesterday. But yeah, with that being said, that's kind of what I see in the overall market action, at least for today and this week. Now let's get started with the live trading. So the way that we build the watch list is we always go to the previous day's watch list first and build from there. Now, I mentioned early on in this live trading that's probably going to be a little bit of a slower day. I don't really see much action today, so we might have a much needed kind of slower, relaxing day, not really pushing too many buttons. Yeah, there are some stocks moving, there's some things happening, but nothing that really tells me that anything is going to be kind of that 20 blackjack hand that we talk about. So let's go through it one by one. Let's make a plan, and we'll take it from there. So let's start with Acon. So Acon is doing a whole lot of nothing. It's kind of come all the way back down to where the move started. It's on day, day 3 of the move. So I'm not really seeing anything too interesting there on Acon. So probably gonna leave that alone and move on from it. TRNR, the stock just will not die. And after multiple days of not dying, I'm not gonna fall for the trap of it. So TRNR, although I made money on it the last 2 days, I am not going back to the well today. The stock just has not died. So MASS, gonna ignore this. MASS, stock has not died. Might turn into a multi-day runner. So ignoring the short for now. RDGT, Wow, this RGGT really failed like this, huh? I must have missed that chart yesterday. Holy cow, what a big fail. I mean, this would need a major bounce, guys, like to like 250. So, I mean, I'll put it on the list, 253 and 350, but I doubt it's going to get there. Big fail yesterday. Need a big bounce. Too short, 250, 350. So those are the stocks that moved yesterday. Now let's talk about what stocks are moving today. So let's see, CMRX, I think is a buyout, so that's an ignore. GV, potential hot stock of the day. Potential hot stock of the day. So ignoring the short. SLXN, it's not really up enough, right? So nothing too interesting there. So SLXN, not enough meat on the bone. BTAI, if you guys remember, this was the stock that had the offering the other day. So it would need a very large bounce. I would say at least to like 450 and 5. BTAI stock had an offering a few days ago. What else is moving, guys? I'm not really seeing anything else. DRCT, it's not really up, no volume. GITS, no volume. I mean, there's no volume all around, guys. So in my opinion, today is more of a day to sit on the sidelines. The way that I explain it to traders is that you show up to the market every day waiting to see if your opportunity is going to be there. And if your opportunity is there, you place a trade. If your opportunity is not there, you're not going to place a trade. I think a lot of traders, once again, are going to be flocking to large cap stocks today. Overall, you could very clearly tell that there is not much opportunity today, right? You know, I would love to wake up every single day and there be a ton of runners and a ton of movers and a ton of everything happening. But some days you wake up and there's really nothing happening. And oftentimes what I find out is on these slow days, people venture outside of their niche. They start trading crypto, they start trading Forex, they start trading orange juice futures, right? And that's because they feel like, oh, I'm at the desk, I have to make money. Well, you're at the desk waiting for your opportunity. And if your opportunity is there, you place a trade. If your opportunity is not there, you don't place a trade. So a couple other things. So we just finished up our first promotion with Cobra Trading. And that is going to be for a steak dinner. So Cobra Trading will be selecting 10 winners to come to a steak dinner with me in Texas. So that's really exciting. That's going to be sometime in April and May. And now we're already working on our next promotion. So if you open up an account between March 1st and July 1st, you will be in the running to come to the New York Stock Exchange with me. So Cobra Trading will be selecting 10 winners who open up an account from now until July 1st to literally come and get a tour at the New York Stock Exchange. How cool is that, man? I'm not really seeing anything, and that's about it. It's like the analogy we give with Bao, right? You walk into a bar and it's all dudes. You're not gonna start hitting on dudes, right? Unless that's your thing. You're just gonna wait or maybe walk into a different bar. So today I walked into the bar, there's only dudes around, right? And that's cool, but like that's not what I'm interested in. So I'm just gonna be waiting for another opportunity to come, and I'm not gonna start hitting on dudes. I'm not gonna start trading crypto. I'm not gonna start trading orange juice. I'm not gonna start trading corn. I'm gonna sit here and wait. Bao's lessons through analogies are kind of the way that I like to teach as well, because I think they're really powerful.
I mean, I could promise you that I will never forget that analogy. So that's one way to make it stick. So I'm mentally prepared to not have a trading day today, right? And I think that's a good way to kind of approach these days, because otherwise we're in the mindset of we have to trade, we have some whatever profit we need to make, and then we get in
If you
trouble.
look for a trade, you will find a trade, is the problem. If you look for it, you will find it. The problems occur when you have a losing day, when there's a no trade day, and you're like, God damn it, if I just did nothing today, I would have more money, right? Bao says on these no trade days, it's cheaper to shop on Amazon than to place a stupid trade. Because you shop on Amazon, you spend $100. You have a losing trade, you might lose 500, you know? So the problem that people have is they add to fix their average. They add to dig themselves out of a bad trade. But by doing that, you're actually digging yourself in deeper. You're getting in bigger when it's going against you. So what I try to do, and I try to emphasize, I mean, this week is the perfect example of literally adding to the winner after the confirmation. So rather than trying to fix your average, take a small loss on a partial piece of your size, if that's the case, or wait until the market confirms, the stock gives you a signal, and then you add. And regarding this question about if you're working during the week and you're not able to trade at 9:30, would you trade in the afternoon? So I would say, yeah, if you can't trade between 9:30 10:30 to 2 p.m. is zombie time. So if you're able to have that window, I would look to go long. And then from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., that's back to your window being short. So depending on what time you have available, that would determine if you would either go long at zombie times or, stop your trading. And then go short after 2 p.m. But we got about 30 seconds until the market opens here. I have really nothing too big on watch. We have this GV squeezing up. Maybe if it gets a bounce like $3 or something, we could look to short, but I don't really trust anything today. I don't really think that there's much action today. Today may be a potential no trade day, and if that's the case, that's the case. So let's take it slow. Let's size down. Let's wait for the stocks to come to us, and if they come to us, great. If not, no problem. It's better to have a break-even day than a losing day trading. So market should be opening up here, and let's see what happens. There's really nothing happening. A little bit of a fail there on GV, but it feels like because that's the only stock moving, that's the only stock that traders will flock to, and it might end up being troublesome. So I think a lot of the money flow is probably going to flock to GV because there's really nothing else moving today. So that might mean it's a little bit dangerous, but TRNR doesn't really have much volume. MASS doesn't really have much volume today. So this is the hardest part of being a trader, guys, is waiting for these opportunities. Because at any moment, at any day, you could force a trade, but doesn't mean that's the right trade. Try to be patient, try to be disciplined, waiting for something to come to me. Can you talk about adding when the low breaks, but then it reclaims immediately? How do you have the confidence to hold that add at the break of lows? So if you add at the lows, you better hope that there's a lot of room to the downside, right? That's number one. And number two is if it reclaims the lows and continues higher, that means your trade thesis is invalid, right? So you have to be prepared to at least reduce a little bit of your position if that happens. This is a dead morning. Yeah, notice because nothing else is moving, guys, the only stock that's moving is GV, so that's where all the attention is going, and that's not what I'm really interested in. I'm not trying to compete with all these other traders trying to trade the same damn thing, So being disciplined, not placing a trade is very, very difficult, but that's why we're here together, guys, to keep each other accountable. Maybe it would need a bounce, SLXN to, I don't know, 153, 155 maybe. So I'm just sitting here. We properly identified that GV was going to squeeze up because there's not anything else moving. Can you have made an argument to buy it? Yeah. Is that what I'm good at? Not really. So watch to see this SLXM bounce maybe for a scalp, but
yeah, I'd kind of like to see it get towards VWAP, maybe 1.6 if possible.
SLXM, a little bit of a fail at 150. I was kind of waiting for higher. So I tried a little bit of SLXN here at 152. Yeah, just small. I'm not really expecting to make more than 10 cents on this trade, right? So not really anything too crazy. GV, you can see 250 support area, but not really anything too crazy. MASS, big money flow. Good avoid on that call. And that's why, great question. I think it was Pete that asked about the death candle pre-market. Death candle pre-market don't matter. The thing about the pre-market death candles is you could never trust a death candle pre-market, right? Because usually on low volume, and usually they try to do that to trap people. So I would say that the death candles at market open are the most powerful death candles, whereas the pre-market ones may just be laying a trap. So a lot of the action may start going into this MASS, which could potentially give us a trade opportunity on this GV, but just kind of giving it a second to trade out first. SLXM bouncing a little bit. I'll welcome a bounce towards 160s area. All right, there we go. Add a little bit, 169. Top tick that add. Come on, baby. Come on. There we go. Reduce some 45. Wow, what an ad, dude. Holy. How perfect was that?
Yeah, I nailed the same one.
Wow. Reduced some 141. Bam. So now, in theory, they should probably break down. And remember, guys, I'm not going in stupid size. I'm in a bazillion, gajillion shares. I'm small, right? I'm being small today. I'm being more cautious. And as that happens, look at GV bouncing. No, I did not use a market order. I used a limit order. So right now, I'm back to a core position. So the shares that I shorted at 169, I covered at 140. And now I'm back to a core position of 5%, right? A little bit of a fail there on GV. So GV looks like a little bit of a death candle there, so that's pretty good. So GV can now look for a potential bounce to short that. So I'll watch GV bounce, maybe 240s. SLXN getting another bounce here. So I might be able to get another redo. So I added some here back on SLXN 165. GV is looking weak. Didn't really get that bounce on GV, so we'll definitely be watching a bounce on GV. Kind of looking a little bit trappy, so I want to use a little bit of the dips to kind of reduce, just in case it's going to be a little bit trappier than expected. So I'll be more proactive rather than reactive. So I'll be sitting on the bid just to reduce down to small size again, just in case. But it does seem like they're trying to move the money flow. My fear is that because GV is losing some money flow, that it might enter into this SLXN, so I'm being more proactive. Ideally, I could get some sort of bounce on this GV though. So SLXN, nice bounce, so reducing was definitely the right move. So reducing was definitely the right move, but I'm gonna kind of keep an open order to just reduce the rest on a dip. That way I don't get myself into any trouble. So 61, almost all out again. So I'm using this dip to just get out on this SLXM because now they're playing games on it. So if it dips back down to 61, I'll be all out. And I'll kind of start to monitor this GV for bounces because it seems like they are shifting the money flow from GV to SLXN. So reduced more SLXN into 61. I have very, very small size left on SLXN, just kind of protecting myself. Does seem like the 60 area is holding. So all out of SLXN here. It's probably gonna crash now, but I'd rather play it safe than sorry. So I'd rather be leaning on the side of caution, guys, because it's not really much else moving today. So locked in a small win there, so it's nothing really too crazy. Monitoring this GV here to short a bounce, so let's see. So got a small starter there on GV at 34. So 234 took a small starter on that. And we'll probably add towards 250. So I waited for the death candle on GV. I'm shorting the bounce on it. Same thing, very, very small size, just to kind of get a feel for it. I'm not in all in, I'm not being aggressive. I'm just taking it slow today, guys. The market action is not warranting me to get overly aggressive today. So I'm pretty much shorting this VWAP projection on GV and leaving room for 250 or 260 in case it comes. So this is a starter. A starter is 10%. If you are in larger than 10%, you're doing something wrong. So low of the day is set at 217. So obviously I would look for a 217 break to start to reduce a little bit. And I would look for a 250, 260 pop to add a little bit. So let's wait and see if this GV is gonna lose it. So watching GV for this bounce, 250 is definitely going to be my add spot. So watching here. So I add a little bit here, 243. Still in very small size, very, very small size. Keeping it nice and controlled as I'm shorting the bounce. Okay, bigger bounce, let's see.
Sorry.
No, bigger bounce, so watching. 250 fail there. So I took a little bit more of an add here. Now I'm at 30% of my size on GV. So I'm going to stick to this 30% size unless something changes. My overall average is about 245. So if I really wanted to, I could start to reduce some in the 240s just to reduce some risk. Okay, so now it's getting a little bit strong. So I might have to just reduce this one. Low of the candle is 248. So if it breaks 248, it should continue lower. So let's watch that 248. The 248 break would be an add on GV. So watching it here, kind of seems like it's about to break down, honestly. So I'm going to take another add here at 251 on GV because it looks like it's about to break that 248. Broke that 248. 230. Nice. 230 covered some. 225 reducing some. Okay, now we got the death candle. So you see how it broke that 248 and instantaneously had a death candle, guys? That's why we identified that 248. So I'm going to be proactive here and reduce some into the dips. So 32, reduce some more. So notice, guys, I'm not just blindly adding because I have to fix my average. I'm not just blindly adding because the sky is blue and the grass is green. I'm waiting for the goddamn motherfucking key areas to break, man. I don't know how many times I have to say it, right? So I'm keeping my size under control. I am just staying calm, cool, and collected. I say, guys, if 248 breaks, I'm going to add. 248 broke, and we got a death candle, right? So now the same thought process goes as follows, is so long as we don't reclaim the death candle, I get to be patient. right? I've locked in some of my gains. Now it allows me to be freaking patient. So here I am, covered some of my position in the 220s and the 230s. Now I've given myself an insurance policy. What is my insurance policy? My insurance policy means that if this thing bounces, I could still, knock on wood, hopefully walk away with a green trade. But if this thing unwinds, then we get paid. Then we get paid. So you could ask yourself, Alex, you saw the death candle, it's broken. Why aren't you getting in bigger? The reason why I'm not getting in bigger today, guys, because today the trades do not warrant it, okay? Not every day do I have to focus on getting 50%, 80%, 100% of my size. I only focus on getting my big time size when the opportunity is so easy a monkey could do it, right? So as the stock is failing, let's reduce some more. Watching. Come on. Reduce some at 26. So I reduced a little bit more at 26. Remember, 17 is that key support area. If 217 breaks, we're going to $2. Am I going to have enough patience to wait for $2? I certainly hope so. Here we go, 223. Come on, a little bit lower. Give me a little bit lower. Let's reduce some more, just in case. Reduce some more, 27. Key area breaks. When do you decide if it's a confirmation to add or take some off? So that depends on a lot of factors. That depends on, is there any other money flow today? The answer is no. It depends. Is this an A+ opportunity? The answer is no. So because it's not the best opportunity, it's an opportunity, it's not the best opportunity in the world, I'm just going to take my money and run, right? I'm only saving my patience and my size and my everything if it's so obvious. Like I always say, and the best traders say, you'll know it's obvious when it happens, right? It's obvious when it happens. So that's kind of what my thought is. And now, guys, I've reduced a bunch of my size into the dips, right? So I have a choice. I could either say, you know what, guys? I'm done for the day. I take my profit and I walk away. Or I could be a little bit more greedy, give it another 20, 25 minutes and see if I can make a couple extra dollars, right? So that's the choice that I'm making right now. I've reduced some on the dips, which buys me time. By reducing some on the dips, it gives me the ability to be patient, right? And look, now that I've reduced on the dips at 220, it bounced to 237. I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. I don't give a frick, right? Why? Because I reduced some on the dips. I bought myself an insurance policy, right? Insurance in the real world is a scam. In the trading world, it's great. Indeed. And now I have a choice, guys. I could add a little bit back on the bounce. So why don't I just add a little bit on the bounce, right? Add it at 234. So why don't I just add a little bit, right? I don't have to add my entire position back, but I can take a small piece. If I covered 3,000 shares, why not just add back 500 shares? Looking at the clock, we got 24 minutes until zombie times. I will most certainly not be overstaying at zombie times. But see, guys, how reducing some in the 220s and 230s buys me time. Does the daily chart at all play a factor on GV since it's had a lot of wick up and wick downs? Great, great question. The answer is yes. Yes. History tends to repeat itself in the stock market. So if you see on the daily chart that every single time the stock gets volume, that it gets sold off, chances are the next time that it gets volume, it gets sold off. So definitely. So right here I'm babysitting, guys. I'm babysitting this GV, right? I'm in the green. I have a choice. I can either take the profits right now and go enjoy my day, but I'm going to try to be a tad bit greedy to see if I could make this into a bigger trade. And if not, I could get out at break even and reduce. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. If the bounce ends up holding, I'm not going to try to get cute with this thing. So got out of some on the dip there at 240. Now I'm in even a smaller size. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to set my last order at 241, get out and go enjoy my day because it's taking a little bit longer than expected. So I'm sitting at 241 here to get out of the last piece of my position, and then I'm going to call it a day there. I squeezed water out of a rock on a slow day, so I can't really complain too much. Now SLXN is kind of dipping down too, so that's losing money flow. So all roads point to GV potentially being a zombie if SLXN loses that money flow. So good exit into some of those dips here. on GV. Very, very good exits. A little bit left that I'm trying to get out of on the next dip, but overall, good job. All out, GV, and watch it tank now. Yep.
Classic.
You can't make this shit up, bro. You can't make it up the moment I get out. Wow. $2,000 day, from a day of not really anything moving to pulling out $2,000, I think is okay with me. That brings me to $12,000 for the month in just 3 days. Pretty unbelievable. The Alex indicator is the only indicator that's consistent amongst everything. That's trading, guys, right? That's trading. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, it is what it is. But on a slow day, guys, on a slow day, we're able to pull out $2,000, right? So it's not so bad when there's really nothing moving and you're able to pull out a $2,000 day. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Could have probably been 3,000 or 4,000 if I waited 1 second. Literally, if I waited 1 second. So that's trading, guys. But that's pretty much all I got. So call it a day here. Have a great rest of the day, guys. And I am wrapping up live trading today. Man, that sucks, dude.
I seen it.
That sucks. You see
It's literally
the moment I get out, bro. It's always like that.
But you top tick that one.
I nailed that one, yeah. So
You can't really complain.
I can't, bro. I really can't complain. $2,000 in 40 minutes is not bad, especially, dude, on a day that we didn't see anything. Like, we came into the market this morning, like, not really anticipating anything, but we were still able to pull out some money. So it is what it is.
Boom.
10 a.m. Let's go make a coffee, bro. If you've tried trading with alerts, AI algos, signals, and every indicator combination known to man, but your account is still bleeding out, here are 3 simple steps that you could implement today that transform me from a losing trader making coffee at Starbucks to earning $8.4 million in just 3 years and being headhunted by one of the top proprietary trading firms on Wall Street, S&P Capital. Step 1 was finding the right stocks to trade. Step 2 was finding the right institutional price zones. And step 3 was trading with the institutional money that moves the markets. After losing my ass for 5 long, grueling years, following guru alerts, blowing up accounts, and designing what I felt like a million different trading systems, I stumbled upon a piece of insider information that changed everything for me forever.